with Chairman of the Republican Study Committee, Mark Walker. The budget just passed.
Yes.
It's going to balance the budget in 10 years. It also paves the way for tax reform. What's next?
Oh, man, this is a great day. This is the most conservative budget that we've had in some time, specifically going after some of the mandatory reforms that we've been looking to do for nearly 20 years.
And you had an amendment that would have balanced the budget in 6 years. It failed, but it got the most votes, I think.
Yeah, in fact, it's the Republican Study Committee. One of the main policy things we do is put forward our own budget. We had a record amount of votes, right at 140 votes today.
Okay, so let's pivot to tax reform because there's a lot of things happening right now and a very fluid situation. Where are you in terms of the state and local deduction? You're in favor of it, right?
We are. We are willing to put anything on the table right now, though at the same time, if it comes across as complete tax relief, both for the middle class first, but all other parties as well.
Okay, but that even if that is included in the tax reform, that's only $1.3 trillion in offsets. People like Senator Bob Corker have raised their concern that that's not enough or that it's a non-starter. How do you plan to pay for this?
Well, I don't know that it's a non-starter. I do believe it's a step in the process. And I do believe and agree that Republicans, you can't, the last 8 years, talk about deficits and debt without being consistent here. I know some of the dynamic scoring allows us to look at projected growth to be able to pay for some of this, but I think that we can still do more when it comes up to the pay for-us.
3 tax brackets is what the White House wants. However, a lot of talk that there could be 4. Where are you on that?
Well, we prefer 3. We believe that everybody that gets tax relief actually steers the economy even more so. However, we're not taking it off the table if that's what it takes to make sure the middle class gets what they need.
You've been in the news for something recently in terms of the funding for hurricane relief. Yesterday, the White House, including Vice President Mike Pence, who was former chairman of the committee that you're on, they've asked for $29 billion in additional relief. You're saying that has to be offset somehow.
That is our ask. $29 billion, that number is correct. We feel like that we've come up with $284 billion of other places where this could be reprioritized to make sure that spending is offset. Just like any family has to plan for emergency, that's what we're wanting to do, is be responsible, whoever's the president is, making sure that we're being fiscally responsible.
Right, but Mr. Chairman, I mean, you look at the situation on the ground in Puerto Rico, they need help.
Sure.
Why should the mistakes of previous Congresses pass and not planning for these type of disasters? Why should Puerto Rico or those in Texas be impacted by this?
Listen, I think that's an incredible fair question, and we're not saying that we're going to pull anything off the table. What we are asking, the same thing when the debt ceiling was raised, we submitted 19 reforms to be coupled with that debt ceiling. All we're saying, if we move forward, and most of us will support it, we're just asking for it to be offset.
Okay, I want to also ask you about something else. Las Vegas, terrible tragedy. Where are you in terms of in terms of gun restrictions, bump stock in particular, the device that this horrific tragedy was used in, wrapped up in? Speaker Paul Ryan has said they're going to take a look at it. Do you think we need to be having a national conversation about bump stock, about gun control?
I think we need to be having a conversation about anything that skirts around the 1984 law when we did ban automatic weapons. If bump stock is a way to rig it in a certain way and it's illegal, then we have to take an honest look at that. And absolutely, if things are allowing people to circumvent a law, then I think that's a problem.
So you are in favor. I just want to be clear here.
Well,
what does it mean,
listen,
taking a look?
I'm just learning the term bump stock. I didn't even know that was something. So we're looking into that. At the same time, we always want to balance that we're not targeting law-abiding citizens. But if people are breaking the law by taking similar automatic weapons and making them into something that's illegal, then that's something we should take a look at.